Today, we're going to get into a love story that ends not with a big explosion, but with a really profound silence. It's a journey into that weird, confusing feeling when a connection just dissolves, without any real goodbye, leaving you with nothing but echoes. So this explainer is going to take us on a pretty emotional ride. We're going to explore that quiet kind of loss that, let's be honest, a lot of us have felt, but find it super hard to put into words. We'll follow a story of hope, heartbreak, and that slow, difficult climb back to finding yourself again.
All right, so where does our story begin? Well, like a lot of them, it all starts with just one single moment, a little spark that just ignites right in the middle of a crowd.
Picture this. He's at a festival, right? It's loud, it's chaotic, and then he sees her. And suddenly, none of that other stuff matters. The music, the people, it all just fades away. There's only her, and her smile is the only thing that feels real.
Okay, so their next meeting, it's not this big, grand thing. It's actually super quiet, just in a hallway. They're making that awkward small talk, about classes and stuff. But for him, it feels absolutely monumental. This is it, the first real step.
And you can totally see how these little moments start to add up, right? Those walks to the next building become grabbing a cup of tea at some corner cafe. The conversations get longer, and even the silences between them start to feel comfortable. And this quiet little sentence, said by the lake as the sun is setting, feels like it confirms everything he's been hoping for.
So things are looking good. It feels certain, like this is the start of something real. But just when you think you've got solid ground under your feet, that's when the first cracks start to show.
And she gives him this promise. It's not some big dramatic declaration of love or anything. But when she says this, it feels like an anchor, something solid he can hold on to. It feels like a promise that he's not in this alone.
But almost as soon as he has that feeling of security, things start to crumble. He calls her, and her voice is just off, distant, distracted. She says she's out with friends, but it just feels different. Then he starts hearing whispers, rumors from his friends about some other guy from her chemistry class.
And then he gets his answer. Not in words, but with his own eyes. He's at another festival, and there she is, laughing with that same guy from the rumors, and she looks so happy. It's this crushing moment where he just knows that happiness isn't for him anymore.
So that gap between them, that emotional distance, it's about to become very, very real. And the whole thing comes apart now with a huge fight, but with just a few quiet words.
And what's just wild is how fast it all falls apart. I mean, look at this. After the festival, she promises to meet up at their usual cafe, but then bails with this cold, vague text. That silence leads to the talk, which leads to the final heartbreaking collapse. All of it happening in just a few quiet, devastating steps.
And that's the thing, right? There's no big blowout, no yelling match. It's just this quiet, empty ending that leaves him totally adrift. Her apology feels hollow, and her request for space feels like a final door slamming shut. No more hope, no more promise. Just silence.
So, what happens now? He's left in the rubble of it all. The silence is deafening, and he's got to figure out how to even begin to pick up the pieces of what he thought he had. And look, healing is never a straight line, is it? First, he tries pouring all that pain into a notebook, but the words don't help. Then his friend Rahul shows up and kind of pulls him out of that spiral, reminding him he can't do this alone. That pushes him to do this symbolic thing, letting go of their mementos at the river. And then finally, he sees this tiny sign of hope. And this is the big light bulb moment for him. You see, she'd given him a plant, and it had started to wilt after she left, a perfect symbol for how he felt. But then he notices it, a tiny new green shoot. It's fragile, sure, but it's life. And he realizes he's just like that plant. He might be damaged, but he's not finished. Okay, so with this new perspective, he can finally start looking forward instead of back. He starts moving again, not really knowing where he's going, but just knowing he has to go somewhere. He's standing on this hill, and it just clicks. He realizes the future isn't some destination you have to race to. He'd been trying so hard to force things, to chase a specific feeling, but now he gets it. You just have to be present. You just have to keep moving, one step at a time. So he closes that notebook for the last time. And this isn't about pretending it never happened or trying to erase it. It's about accepting it. That love, that pain, it's all part of his story now. But it's not the whole story. It doesn't get to write the ending. And that's where this story leaves us, with this really powerful question to think about.
Maybe healing isn't about the pain going away completely. Maybe it's about learning to live with it, accepting it as part of who we are, and understanding that even after the toughest losses, there's always room to grow.